Hi, I'm Miriam Manzo and welcome back to my channel. A few weeks ago, we showed you a sneak peek of Project King City. Today, we're going to go through how we started, where we went, how we got there. Stay tuned for the full reveal. Project King City started out on paper. A young couple came to me with the plans for a new house they had just purchased that was to be built by a builder. So step one of our working together was for me to go through the design process with them and the builder, selecting tiles, kitchen, bathroom, and whatnot. I've done this many times with many clients. When you go to your design appointment with a builder, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made in a very short time. You're selecting your kitchen cabinets, the style, the color, the hardware. You're selecting your tiles, your pickets, your hardwood floors, your tub fixtures. It's very overwhelming for a lot of clients. So this was step one of the design process. A few months after our selections had been made, the client contacted me to ask if he could meet with me before continuing on our step two, which would be to do fabric selections for furniture. Upon meeting, the client informed me that he and his wife were no longer together, unfortunately, but that he was going to continue the process with me as he was going to take over the house. So I no longer had a wife to make decisions. The client was relying solely on my expertise as well as my taste to get this done for him. He was a busy man running a large company, and he trusted what he knew I could do. So what the plan was for him to do a rental until the house was built. And the furniture that we were going to use in the rental would then be transferred over to the new house. Once the new house was taken possession of, we were going to go in and start our construction. So what we decided to do was we knew we wanted to do a custom kitchen. However, when doing that through a builder, there are a lot of markups, and we decided that it would be more economical for us to take the house and the kitchen as is, and then I would come in, have the kitchen taken out, and then design a kitchen for the space. So what we did with the builder was we selected all the hard finishes that couldn't easily be changed. So all the tiles were chosen. We decided which bathrooms would have a tub versus a shower or both. The fixtures were all selected through the builder, as well as the railing and all the tile and counter designs. The only thing that we were going to change was the kitchen, and then we were going to do adding stuff on top of that. So when we had the floor plan of the rental that the client was going to occupy for about a year, I took my measurements from the new build and decided what could be used in this rental and what would have to wait. So we basically furnished his bedroom, and you're going to see in the primary bedroom, we did a feature wall on the headboard or the bed wall. That was actually installed in the rental, and it was designed in such a way that then I could translate it to the new build, and we would just add to it to make it fit the space. And you're going to see how perfectly custom it looks, as if it was done specifically for that space, because essentially it was. And then we took a small area on the upper level, which was going to be the kids' retreat, and we did that furniture in the rental for him. We also furnished the rental with some lights that we knew we were going to take over to the new build. So once we got our hands on the new build and keys were taken, this is when the MMI team really went in and did our thing. Starting from the front door, remember the tiles had already been selected, but as you can see here, coming into the house was very basic. We had a series of arches that were really just trimmed with a window trim. But you know me, I wasn't going to leave it like that. Now, if we look straight ahead from the front door, we see this beautiful sight line with this console table, lamps, and a piece of art. That was a move that I made. In the original floor plans, that was going to be in a doorway into the kitchen. And I didn't want from the front door to see right through to the back in the kitchen table. I wanted the kitchen to have some privacy. And because things weren't lined up perfectly center, it wasn't a sight line that was really making a statement. So what I did is I had the builder close the original opening that took you into the kitchen, and we moved it off to the site. And that allowed for this beautiful feature when you first walk in. This is your first view into the house. And you can see the arches were now paneled and made more prominent so that we have a layer of arches taking us to that final sight line of the console. I also did these arches to the left and to the right. To the right goes into the homeowner's main floor office. And then to the left, it takes us into the living room and formal dining room. Again, the floors were already selected. So now is the time to add our panel detail molding that you see here in the foyer, as well as throughout the main floor and most of the upper level. These little sections that take you into the kitchen were furnished in such a way that you felt like you were walking through different rooms to get to where you were going, even though it technically is one long hallway. I did this little section here as a place to put down your keys, a couple of ottomans for sitting down when putting on shoes, and then of course my antique mirror feature. We did add these wall sconces after the fact. And then we take you into the stair hall. We completely paneled, and if you look up, you see the beautiful ceiling I did up on the second floor. So there's really points of interest right through this house. To the left, we go into this formal dining room. All the furniture in this house was made custom for the house. The chairs were custom, the console was custom, the sofas were all custom. Even the desk in the client's office and that fabulous storage bookshelf were all made to fit the space. Then we go next to the kitchen. Really one of my favorite kitchens of all times. I wanted to do a more contemporary kitchen, but I still wanted to pay homage to my traditional roots. So I decided to mix the two elements. And not only did we bring in a contemporary and a traditional element, we also mixed colors. We have a lighter gray on the more traditional panel doors, and then a darker color on the flat panel contemporary doors. And all of this is taken through into the family room to our TV unit. High-end appliances were bought, panel-ready appliances were used in this case. Into the family room, which is open to the kitchen and the kitchen eating area. Again, you can see there were these little niches on either side of the fireplace. I custom built floating cabinets here, and then again brought in some sconces sitting on top of antique mirror to repeat that detail that we had from the front foyer. And we did this one long couch. So the family room, while being large, was an awkward shape, and I wanted to make sure everybody had a view to the TV. So we did this 12-foot long down-filled couch with a beautiful sofa table behind it where we could rest, lamps if you wanted to sit and read, and then this beautiful custom chair in the corner as a spot for some solitude and quiet reading. Now, I love the ottoman and coffee table. I've done this a few times. It works great when you're using a very long seating area. One of them is a coffee table, the other is an ottoman, but we've used the same design details through both of them, and they are the exact same size. Overall, I think this whole space is just gorgeous. Let's move on to the upper primary suite. When I first saw the primary bedroom on paper, it was actually pretty funny. The room is large enough that you could actually run a lap, and if you're not in good shape, get tired. So for those of you who follow me, you know that I really love doing bedrooms. I really believe that the best hotel room you should sleep in is your own. So we went with that for this very large space, and I wanted to give zones. So the first place I started, as mentioned, was the bed wall. I did this spectacular custom headboard treatment that really fills the entire space. Again, this is where your measurements are very important. I wanted to make sure that the bed lined up perfectly with the headboard section, as well as the nightstands with the two outer sections. We did all the bedding here custom. We bought a bench because I liked the base of it, and then we did our own seating on it, a custom design with custom fabrics. And then what I did was this fabulous fireplace. I took the same details I did on the upholstered wall and now translated it to the fireplace wall, and this time it's done in a rift cut oak. A couple of swivel chairs and a sculptural coffee table complete this little seating area in front of the bed. Because there was still this additional space, we did this beautiful custom bookcase and filled it up with things that are of interest to the client. And then we custom made this beautiful chaise and created yet another relaxing zone in the bedroom. From here, we go into the hallway that takes us into the primary ensuite. Again, the tiles and the vanity were selected through the builder and were complete when we came. All that we did here was custom soft Roman drapery panels, and then I brought in just some accessories to warm up the space, as well as a chair where he can answer emails in the morning before heading out for the day. The primary closet, I took that same concept that I used down in the kitchen and did a more contemporary closet. But again, we knew we wanted some display area. The client travels a lot. He does have a second home in the States. So we knew we needed a place to make it easy for him to pack his bags as well as store them. And because was now dealing with a bachelor, I did a beautiful faux leather finish inside all the closets. We made sure to bring in enough touches that if down the road he were to meet someone special and bring another woman into his life, she would feel at home in this house, even though it was done more for a bachelor. Again, overall, this is one of the most incredible primary suites I've ever had the pleasure of doing, and I completely fell in love with it. A couple of other bedrooms, we were brought in to do 2 guest bedrooms with a Jack and Jill. So again, we kept them very gender neutral, but we made sure to give them as much impact as the rest of the house. You'll see throughout the house, most of the ceilings have detail. We really treated this large home, and we treated that 5th wall the same as we would on all of our actual walls. We did a beautiful mudroom, which is off of the garage and has its own separate entrance. Again, in this space, we simply had 2 doors to a closet that the builder gave us, and the rest of the space was wide open. We actually tore down that wall that housed the builder closet and created these beautiful built-ins with a space for keys, a space for shoes. We've got coat hanging, both long and short, and we really took into account the homeowner's needs when creating and designing this closet. And as you can see, there's even a spot to sit down. Overall, this project was a total dream to be able to do. We are given complete creative license, and the homeowner, as well as our team, couldn't have been more thrilled with the outcome. The house is now for sale, ready for a family and its next owners to love and enjoy, and I wish them all the best. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and click on that bell icon to be sure you get notified for our future videos. I'm Miriam Manzo. Thanks for watching and coming along on another home tour.